It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio, and he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. I just, I was scanning by it on social media, and I just sort of ignored it.
Yeah.
And then it was just during the top of the hour, I took a closer look at it, and I started playing it. I went, Eric, did you see it? And you said, oh, yeah, didn't you? And I hadn't brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Jon Stewart with a gospel choir behind him.
Yeah.
And in support of Colbert in a gospel fashion saying, go F yourself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Back at Trump. I'm telling you, they're just...
How many dozens of writers did that take? They have the same parent company.
Yeah. But you were telling me that, and I do remember it, when Schumer, what was the chant Schumer was doing?
I forget. It was something I don't remember.
Fight with me. But
yeah, it was a really weird moment.
It was worse than John McCain's fight with me.
Yeah.
Fight with me.
Yeah, it was. And Jon Stewart made fun of Schumer.
That it was cringeworthy.
Yeah.
And this is cringeworthy.
It's so much worse.
It's so bad.
It isn't funny at all.
And Christopher Rufo, who was really the guy that went after critical race theory. He's the one, here's the post I saw that said, this is precisely the kind of partisan juvenile slop that led to Colbert's unprofitability and in time will lead to Jon Stewart to the same place. Yelling expletives at Trump with a gospel choir is not clever or entertaining. It's garbage.
Yeah, it is.
I'm telling you, they're just losing it.
Yeah, it seems so desperate.
I know.
And he got shredded. Everybody's posting that video from Jon Stewart. He just got shredded.
It's just, it's cringeworthy, especially when he's jumping up and down and they really think this is good stuff.
Well, it's in response to Trump, but who's doing the real damage here? By their accounts. It's the parent company. They're the ones that decided to end it. Trump just said he's glad that they fired Colbert.
Yeah.
The left wants to blame Trump for it, and Trump's like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. I'm just glad he's fired. Trump didn't do this. Massive losses did it.
And we're not upset about it, because I'm reading some of the comments. Oh, I can see why people be upset about it, but I'm not upset about it. In fact, the right loved it.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. Because somebody wrote this. I'm not offended as a conservative. I'm offended as a comedian. That comes from Seinfeld's line.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Remember?
Right.
Because it was the dentist Watley who converted to Judaism. And he started telling Jewish jokes.
Right, yeah.
And it
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, exactly. It's Bryan Cranston.
Mm-hmm.
And it was...
That's where the term anti-dentite came from.
Right. It's when Seinfeld goes in the confessional. He's not Catholic. So he goes in the confessional I forgot what he was trying to do. I went in there, but he sits down on the kneeler. That the priest goes, "That's a kneeler." And he talks about Watley.
Yeah.
Just converted to Judaism. He goes, "And does this offend you as a Jewish man?" "No, it offends me as a comedian." That's we got that line from.
It's great.
Oh,
but it's
by the way, I'm not offended by anything that Colbert does, or it's
Stewart or any of them.
It's what they.
I don't care.
I'll criticize it as being stupid, and I'll tell you when they're wrong.
Like much of their audience, I've moved on.
I remember, and this one viral, was it last week? Whatever, we never got a chance to talk about it. Was it over the weekend that I saw it? And it was Jon Stewart and blasting. I don't know who the guy was, blasting some guy who was saying that children should not get offensive material,
right?
In schools,
right,
when they're young. And it was Stewart. Good God! If the guy, there was a short clip, and I didn't see whether the guy tore him apart, but it seemed like he didn't know where to go. The guy that was, talking about the radical transgender movement, and about all this, and he goes, "Well, do you know what the biggest killer of children is?" The guy says, "Yeah, I think I know what you're going to say." "Yeah, you're right. It's guns. It's guns, and you're not advocating for the banning of guns."
Yeah,
I'm like, you could not have found. I mean, you and I would have tore that apart, and it shows you what an intellectual lightweight even Jon Stewart is.
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm not offended as a person. I'm offended as a talk show host that he has such intellectually lightweight arguments that he thinks are great.
Yeah.
Because it's very simple when you look at the stats. And he could have been torn apart if people knew it. Because he was saying that the biggest killer of children is guns. No, it's not. Maybe the biggest killer of teenagers is where they are technically considered children legally, but it's not 7 or 8-year-olds. And the teens are gang members that are being killed. And there isn't a conservative out there that doesn't want to get those guns off the street. And there isn't a conservative that points out what's going on in the cities across America where the government won't let local law enforcement do their jobs.
Right.
I mean, this was so easily to tear apart from Jon Stewart. And I just saw it. I go, what an intellectual lightweight. And he got angry. He got that. Remember that fury? Remember the fury? Didn't he do that with, remember what was it? Was it Tucker Carlson way back when? It was on Crossfire, right? It was, remember Crossfire when Jon Stewart took off on Tucker Carlson and whoever else?
I think it was, yeah.
And then they started getting him. He goes, "I'm only a comedian."
Yeah.
Remember that? I'm only a comedian. It was like,
don't come at me.
Yeah, I'm only a comedian. I'm not analyzing. As soon as you enter the arena of ideas, I don't care whether you're a comedian, whoever you are. If you're a private citizen, if you're a comedian, as soon as you enter the arena of ideas and you give your opinion, criticism is justified.
Yeah.
Criticism, expect to be criticized. You enter the arena. What do you expect? Oh, I'm going to enter the arena and criticize you, but you can't criticize me because I'm just a comedian. Jon Stewart is such an intellectual lightweight. He's one of the people that comes off as being smart because he's got a dozen writers writing his monologue for him.
And that's what they could come up with, that very cringeworthy gospel song.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. Now, has Jon Stewart had his good moments? Yes.
He can be funny.
In fact, as Eric said, Jon Stewart is the reason for the downfall. Jon Stewart was the
I'm
person
blaming
who
Jon.
ignited the downfall of Colbert. Colbert.
That's actually his name. Colbert he pronounces it Colbert
Colbert,
for the
yeah.
show, but yeah.
I almost said cohort. that's
Well,
but and explain why he is. Explain why Jon Stewart is.
oh, you want me to explain?
Yeah. You
I thought
told-
you were going to play the clip.
Oh no, I don't have it in front of me. No.
Oh, okay. Because he came out and pointed out what many have believed is that, yeah, it's likely a lab leak that caused COVID. He did a whole bit on it that actually was funny.
No, that was funny. That was actually
And
funny.
it's one of those, it's funny because it's probably true moments.
Right. When he takes a good, logical, critical thinking, conservative viewpoint, he is correct.
Right.
When he actually sticks to the facts at hand,
Yeah.
he can be good.
Right. Well, look,
But he also can
he
be
broke
the
down
biggest
that in the most obvious fashion
Yes, he did.
on the lab leak thing. And this was just I don't know, it seemed lazy. You know what it seemed like? It seemed obligatory. I got to do some kind of big bit here to show my support for Colbert. That's what it felt like to me. I don't know if he thought this was going to go viral. It went viral for the wrong reason. Because I can't imagine anybody thinking that was funny. It was really cringe. And I would think with dozens of writers, you can come up with something. That was lazy. Maybe they fired all the writers. Sure seems like it.
I just found it interesting. We had earlier played on CBS this morning, that it just isn't right. It just and I get the biggest kick out of how the left believes. This started whether it's NPR and PBS or Colbert or whatever, that there's a sense of entitlement that somebody should subsidize your political opinions.
Yeah. Right.
And then it's horrendous that a profit-making entity would fire you because you're costing them millions of dollars while making millions of dollars. That somehow there is this right to be subsidized by others for your opinion that can't make you a profit, or in a nonprofit you believed ought to be taxed or ought to be subsidized by all people, including those people that disagree with your political opinion.
Right.
It's amazing that sense of entitlement that exists out there, and the arrogance, the elitism.
Well, people that work for CBS right now saying basically this is wrong for them to do that, knowing full well their company that also pays them has been losing millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on that show and kept it in place. I'd be screaming, why didn't my company do this sooner? Because other people that work for the company are working hard to make it profitable, and nobody cared about the money going down the toilet for that show.
Well, I think they should be blaming CBS, not Trump. CBS
Exactly.
CBS is the one who's not willing to take huge economic losses in order to promote the leftist agenda.
Right.
They're to blame. They should be willing to take a loss.
Yes. Those conservatives.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Another round of extreme heat and humidity this week in parts of the country. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey explains the where and the extent.
We're seeing our highest heat developing across the central and southern Great Plains and then extending on into the southeast. For the next several days, we will be watching that heat continuing. It will be common for stations, for communities to hit 100 degrees all the way from the mid-south into parts of the southeast, although the heat will start to come down later in the week in the southern Atlantic states.
With the combination of extreme heat and high humidity,
heat indices could easily top 110 degrees, which can take quite a toll on humans and animals and plants alike. And certainly the overnight lows are going to be a bit of the issue too, with the high humidity,
creating potential heat stress issues for livestock, while conditions in general raise concerns about crops in impacted areas. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Coming up following the bottom of the hour. You know, the talk about Kami Mamdani wanting to have government supermarkets. Washington Post, I think it was. Washington Post did a story on a government-owned supermarket in Kansas City, and how's it doing. And you'll want to hear it.
Okay.
Coming up on the bottom of the hour. But
All
first,
right.
our audio cut of the day. And this is the Director of ICE, Tom Homan, being asked a question by Laura Ingraham about what Hunter Biden had to say about illegal immigration and what the what the Trump administration is doing.
I don't really care what the former first drug addict thinks.
You think you're going to get a longer answer than that, and it's like, yeah, I don't care what a drug addict thinks. Huh?
Then he
we got more time to fill.
Then he went on to say what he's been saying all along. But I just I did see some people saying, well, you know something, he might have not been honest on everything, but he was pretty accurate about a lot of the Democrats when it came to his.
Now he's being honest.
I did like that one. It's like,
yeah,
well, he's not necessarily being lying about everything.
No, well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just so great.
Yeah, it's I love the fact, and I get the feeling Hunter's not done. I get the feeling, well, first of all, if you're another news outlet, right, or podcast or whatever, you're going to give the guy a call. Hey! Because every time, especially if you're a podcast, because every time he says something, it's going to be all over the news, which means your podcast name is going to be out there, right? So he's going to get the calls. He'll probably talk more. I don't think he's done. And this is so much fun.
No, that's a great point.
Because
where's he going to go next?
Who's going to and who's going to shut him up? Nobody's going to rein him in. How dare you?
Wow, he could go on. Forget about podcasts. He could go on The View. Well,
he could go on
without
he's got
the
10 months to go on Colbert.
Oh, he could go on Colbert.
Make it happen. Somebody make it happen. Please
I don't
make
know.
it happen.
Will they want him on if he's going after Democrats?
I don't know. Jon Stewart exposed the entire COVID hoax on Colbert, so why not? If it's over, it's over. Burn the house down.
I thought you meant he'd go on with Jon Stewart.
Yeah. No. On Colbert.
I was going to ask, would that be after the gospel choir or before?
Yeah. Probably after.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. You know, we had played Tom Homan's quick comment on Hunter Biden, and I remembered I didn't play this audio cut yet. I want to play it. Right. Scott Jennings on Hunter Biden.
Okay,
because they were talking about it on CNN last night.
Okay.
Right, here we go.
All right, Scott, your turn. You've been waiting patiently.
You said he's not alone in making bad decisions. I agree, but he is almost singularly alone in being able to make a pantheon of bad decisions and then have his father completely wipe away any responsibility. You said, I think, that the Biden family often has trouble telling Hunter no. These are good parenting advice. Sometimes it's okay to tell your children no, and what they did with Hunter Biden, apparently for his entire life, is never say no, and then in the final acts of a presidency, wipe away any responsibility for his personal bad decisions, for corruption, for whatever he has done over the last decade. This political party has a 28% approval rating, and now you have this foul-mouthed person out trying to explain what happened with the last Democratic president. You call it bad timing, and that nobody wants to talk about it. To me, Alex's book and everything that's come out about how the Bidens operated as a family is the real constitutional crisis. And recalibrating this conversation, absolutely, because we can't just forget what was done.
And by the way, he's absolutely right. I think the Wall Street Journal editorial page, which is different from the Wall Street Journal as we talk about it, news division, just so people know that, they came out and I saw it yesterday. I don't know if it was the editorial page or whether it was an op-ed piece. I don't know. No, I just, but I read it yesterday. Just blasted saying, we don't know who's running the dang government.
Yeah.
You got to find that. You've got to find that out. It can't happen again.
Yeah.
You can't allow that to happen. And we know Democrats don't care. We know they don't. Democrats don't care. But probably the majority of Americans care who the hell was running the White House. When you elect a president and there's a possibility that people that were not elected are making the decisions in the Oval Office, that's one of the biggest political scandals in the president's office in American history.
Yeah. It's
besides the possibility of how much Obama knew and where this leads with Russia collusion, the Russia collusion hoax.
Right. They might be tied eventually. I mean, it's right now they kind of are, right? I mean, I don't know how to gauge how big they are because you really have to stand back from the forest, you know, and see all the trees as a collective, and it's a massive thing on both fronts. By the way, how the party says, "Sorry, Joe, you're out." The godmother, Nancy, makes the call, kicks Joe to the curb, but he still gets to be president. Not capable of campaigning, but he's capable of running the country.
It was an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal. It was actually the Journal's deputy editorial features editor, so somebody at the Wall Street Journal who wrote it, Matthew Hennessy. Was Joe Biden really president? The country needs to know if a Politburo of advisors was running the White House. It'll be a long time before Americans forget the clenched agony of watching President Biden stumble through his June 2024 debate with Donald Trump. No decent person, regardless of party affiliation, enjoyed the spectacle of a once vigorous man falling to pieces in public. It was a heart-rendering scene, the kind that leaves a mark. Voter acceptance, though, has its limits. If the American president has lost his marbles, the country has a right to know. We insist on seeing and hearing from him regularly for precisely this reason. The Constitution is clear about who wields executive power. It isn't the First Lady. It's not the Chief of Staff. For the final, at least, year of the Biden administration, nobody could say with confidence that the buck stopped with the man behind the executive desk. That can never happen again. We can't allow that to ever happen again. That's why it's good that the House Oversight Committee is investigating what transpired in the whispering corners of the Biden White House. Was there a regency, a palace coup? What role did the first family play? Did the Politburo of advisors make decisions about the direction of the country while Mr. Biden dozed in his residence? Did he even know his auto pen was signing off controversial pardons? We need the answers. This is something I think every American is concerned about. Well, they're not, said Representative James Comer. Democrats aren't. Democrats do not care. The Democrats that are loyal Democrats today, whether members of Congress or the voting public, do not care if Biden was capable of running the executive branch or it was unelected people. They claim they care about democracy. That is a load of horse manure. They don't. We need the answers. Mr. Comer is 100% right, though not every American wants the whole truth. Thank you, Matthew. And we don't always want it right away. Sometimes it helps if a decade goes by, often two. Time allows passions to cool and reason to rule. Then we can look at our big political mistakes with objectivity they deserve. Everyone knows that the subpoenaed members of Mr. Biden's inner circle aren't going to tell on themselves. The Fifth Amendment says they don't have to, so they won't. While there's nothing Mr. Comer can do about that, he's leaving a trail of crumbs for historians to one day follow. Let's remember to thank him one day. The case for letting the possible cover-up go, at least for a while, collides with the complication. The current president is himself an old man with age-related issues. The White House was forced to admit last week that Mr. Trump has been diagnosed with the chronic venous insufficiency, an ailment apparently common among those over 50 years of age. The announcement comes after several news outlets ran stories about Mr. Trump's swollen ankles and bruises visible on his hands. But whether we want it or not, the question isn't going away. How old is too old to be president? Representative John James of Michigan proposed a constitutional amendment in 2023, setting 75 as the upper bounds. That sounds reasonable until you consider that it would only apply to the president, but not to all federal office holders. But it goes on and on and on and on and on. Look, I think, they may, I don't know where he's going with this, but I think somebody needs to get immunity from prosecution in that office. The lower level people who they finally figure out probably had nothing to do with it. That's who you give immunity from prosecution. But you need somebody answering questions there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, is that you're going to have and the American people deserve the truth. We'll see where it goes. My confidence level is where it always is. 0. And then surprise me. You know what I mean? I just don't know that. I don't expect anything, but if something happens where we can make progress on this, or anything they're working on right now, then great. The American people, again, deserve the answers on all fronts.
All right, commie, traitor to our country. That comes from Seinfeld. A commie Mandami story here. This is done in the Washington Post. Washington Post did it, so not a conservative organization or a Republican-leaning organization, as of yet. As people keep quitting. Saw Jonathan Capehart resign the other day.
Wow.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
But this talks about Mandami touts a government-run grocery store. Well, Kansas City has one. Kansas City has a subsidized supermarket that is struggling with empty shelves and mounting financial losses even after the city poured millions in to keep it afloat. KC Sun Fresh, which opened in 2018 inside a city-owned strip mall and was taken over by a nonprofit in 2022, is now on the brink of closure amid spiraling crime, plummeting sales, and empty shelves. The store lost $885,000 last year and now only has 4,000 shoppers a week, the Washington Post reported, despite a recent 750 $1,000 cash infusion from the city. The shelves are almost bare. That comes from the Washington Post. Mamdani, the frontrunner for New York City's mayoral election following his upset Democratic primary win over Governor Cuomo, former Governor Cuomo, has campaigned on opening similar supermarkets in Kansas City. While Kansas City merely subsidized KC Sun Fresh, New York City would own and operate the stores under Mamdani's proposal. The stores would help combat out-of-control prices by operating without a profit motive and passing savings onto the consumers. According to the Post, consumers have become increasingly afraid to shop at the Kansas City store, even with the police presence, because of drug dealing, theft, and vagrancy both inside and outside the store and the public library across the street. Sales were okay at first, but after the pandemic, crime rose, sales began to plummet. Police data shows assaults, robberies, and shoplifting in the immediate vicinity have been on an upward trend since 2020, and shoplifting cases have nearly tripled at the store. Here's my question. If you shoplift in New York City from a city-owned store
I was
under
just thinking that.
Mamdani,
Yeah.
will Bragg,
No.
will the district attorney Bragg charge you?
No.
But
They'll
if
put
it's
it on your tab.
But if it's destroying your city's supermarket, will there be more pressure for Bragg to actually go after shoplifters because it's costing the taxpayer money?
Well, AOC said it during the shoplifting thing at one point. They're just trying to feed their families. So this would be what they will do is Bragg will team up with Letitia James and go after the rich. So the billionaires, then they'll confiscate money. Don't ask me how. You got to ask them. They're doing it, not me.
The thing is,
This is their plan, not
when
mine.
you describe what they may do,
Yeah.
you don't have to make
You don't
any
have to.
sense.
That's what I mean.
It doesn't have to.
It's
have
their
any-
plan, not mine.
Don't have to connect the dots.
Exactly.
No
What do I
critical
know?
Thinking is involved.
Yeah, I'm just starting a rumor on the radio. So here's the deal. That's all I am. That's all I'm doing. Don't blame me. And it could be true. It could end up being true. I don't know. I can't tell the future. What are you looking at me for? That it's how they'll fund everything. Go after the rich. It's how they say they'll fund everything. We're going to tax the rich. I mean, that's the whole idea of a government owned and operated thing is that anything is that will have the I'm sorry. We quit calling them the rich. The oligarchs.
There'll be a special tax on all Whole Foods in New York City to subsidize
Oh, yeah.
the
There you go.
city-owned
Right.
commie marts.
Right. Exactly. But it will still be locally sourced, organic, and fair trade.
What'd you forget?
Organic. I said
No,
organic.
come
What?
on.
What?
Come on.
Locally sourced.
Gluten-free.
Oh, that. Everything's gluten-free. That I thought that was assumed. You said Whole Foods, right? Yeah. So, yeah. It's
Oh,
all
no. I thought you were I thought you were talking about the
government grocery store?
The commie marts. Let's call them what they are.
Commie mart.
Commie mart. Instead of Kmart.
Yeah.
Commie mart.
Yeah. By the way, I think Trump should force the Washington football team to rename themselves the Oligarchs. The Washington Oligarchs. Just drive the craziness right out of the left. But that's, I mean, they'll make excuse after excuse after excuse if they actually ever get this done. I can't wait for the election in New York City. It's going to be fun. It already is.
866-90 Red Eye.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. The best story of the day, though, political story of the day, was James Carville saying the Democratic Party is a, quote, a cracked-out clown car, which, again, is going to be Eric. When Eric and I decide that since Ozzy is gone, that we need more heavy metal, that's the band we're going to create. We're going to be an old man heavy metal band and call ourselves Cracked Out Clown Car.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Our first album, Daddy Was the President. Coming soon. It's a whole box set.
And our first song,
You
Hunter.
Know, Hunter. Second song, You Know the Thing.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.